Hi, I'm Andy Kinder and today you join me at the fabulous Glebe complex here in, what can I say, sunny Leicestershire. Spring has finally sprung, the carp are waking up, the margins are coming into play, short fishing's coming into play, and yeah, what more could we ask for? So here we are today, like I said, at the Glebe Fishery, and I'm going to be showing you the new MVR Elite 10-metre pole. We're going to be putting it through its paces, seeing what it does, and just showing you how excellent value for money this pole really is. And what I will tell you about this pole is, you know, I visit my local retailers, go around to see them, speak to a lot of guys on the bank, and yeah, I've got to tell you, we're all getting slightly older. You know, none of us are spring chickens anymore, and you know, a lot of anglers out there who are on a budget and don't particularly want a 16-metre pole, a 14-metre pole, but they, you know, they want to enjoy the fishing. So this is what we brought out for you guys out there. A lovely 10-metre package, ideal for short fishing, fantastic for your margins as well. And what a package it comes with. It comes with a load of power kits. Well, when I say a load of power kits, you've got 3 power kits, a cupping kit, and a lovely hard case holder for 350 quid. So excellent value for money pole. Everything you could possibly want on any commercial, anywhere you go in the country. Just a superb piece of kit. So what we're going to do today is put it through its paces, show you what it can do, and catch a load of carp. So let's get on with it. Right, so let's get out there. Top 2 plus 2. It's the phrase I hear all the time with all the anglers what go in the shops. I like fishing top 2 and 2. And I must say, if you're ever going to win a match on any commercial or have a brilliant day's pleasure fishing, you're going to catch him on this line. So here we have a power kit. 14-17 dual core elastic. I want something what's not going to let me down. It's going to be sturdy enough to hit them fish. We've got an 0.5 gram rig. Nice bulk shot, literally a foot from the hook, 1 number 10 dropper, 6-inch hook length, banded pellet. It's as easy as that. On my side tray I have got basically a couple of pints of 6mm pellets. Now see, I've connected that. One thing I will tell you about this pole, guys, before we go any further, any of you people out there what have got an Oculus, definitions, signatures, you know, one that has a 22mm mandrel, your top kits will go straight onto this pole. So, you know, if you're looking at treating yourself to a pole what you want to do a little bit of margin fishing with cheaper, you know, your top kits will go straight on. So that's another good incentive in this pole. So, right, let's get out to this top 2 and 2 line. And it's pretty simple, straightforward fishing. Yes, I could cup some pellets in, but me personally, it's all about noise. I like to throw right-handed as well. So a few 6mm pellets around my float, and we'll see how we go. Right, well, top 2 and 2 fishing, you know, fantastic way of catching fish, especially pleasure fishing and matches like I've been saying, but it's where a lot of fish get caught on a lot of commercials. You're just virtually right at the bottom of that near shelf, just fishing slightly onto it, a natural patrolling route for a lot of carp on literally any commercial. And it's a nice enough depth in which the fish are going to feed positively, and it's a great place to, you know, particularly start your match. And then you may have to do other things during the day, but pleasure fishing you potentially catch there all day. But any match fishing scenario, it might be good to start your match off and get your 2 or 3 fish early. But it is basically about putting your rig in. Yeah, occasionally I'll have a little lift and drop because I'm wanting to try and mimic the pellets what are falling in. But still quite early spring, and the fish have not fully woken up yet, but they are wanting to feed. So I'm not going to be shy with bait, but I'm not going to absolutely fill it in. Little indication then. So we'll feed a few pellets. Just literally 4 or 5 pellets. All we're basically trying to do is get one fish into a peg at a time, and try and catch him. Well, there we go. That didn't take very long at all. Just been flicking in half a dozen pellets. Couple of minutes and we're away. Well, I think it's definitely a carp where it's pulling. And it just literally shows the simplicity of fishing in which we can have, which is what a lot of that's what this pole is designed for. It's to make life easier for you guys out there. Just want to come down, come fish, have a nice day without breaking your back. And get a few of these beauties. Here we go. He didn't know he were up to him. We nailed him quick. Here we go. Perfect hook hold. Here we are, look. He wants to go back, doesn't he? So, here we go, number one in the net, and it's as easy as that. And that, like we were saying, that's what that is the sheer beauty about these poles. They will literally do anything. So, without any further ado, we get another .6mm pellet on the band. Out there and repeat. Lovely finish of these poles, nice slip slide finish on them. I'm literally just feeding out half a dozen 6mm pellets. Onto that line. Like I said, I'm not actually looking at getting a million fish into my peg. It's about catching one at a time, 4 or 5 pellets, just trying to mimic them pellets what's falling in. Nice little drop, lift and drop occasionally, just to try and entice a carp what's in there, seeing that pellet. Right, well, fishing at this range, it's all about ease. It's all about making things easy. It's easy to feed, it's easy to hold, it's easy to hit bites, everything is easy about it. And yeah, using this pole, like I said, right at the very, very start, I get asked so many times for a good pole. I do all my fishing, top 2 and 2, top 2 and 3, and having a pole like this, it just makes it so much easier. So much easier. And, listen, things are tight out there. The market is tight, everybody's tight for money and things like that. And what you actually get with this pole, sheer value for money wise, is just awesome. It's a phenomenal package. You're getting a 10-metre pole, which is plenty long enough for what most people want to do, pleasure fishing wise. Even as a spare pole for you match lads out there, it does its job. It's strong, it's responsive. Straight away, fishing these top 2 and 2 lines. There we go, I think that will foul looked. Fishing these top 2 lines, it's all about being straight on top of the bite, being quick to respond, because the bites are little donkey bites, And you know, you're needing a pole what is gonna be responsive and not let you down, and this pole is that. And value for money wise, you know what you're actually getting. You're getting a pole, you're getting 3 power kits, you're getting a cupping kit, and you know the real piece de resistance in all of this is you have a £150 hard case pole holder, which these poles actually come in as well. So you know, value for money wise, guys, it's absolutely fantastic and will do you literally for every little bit of commercial fishing. There you go. Slight dink bite, the pole were responsive to it, and we're playing another. And you know, you can literally catch some massive weights fishing like this on, I'm going to say it, a shoestring budget. I'll even go one further than that. I'm thinking of all these puns today. You can have a champagne day on a lemonade budget. How's that sound? Well, these carp have definitely woke up now with this beautiful spring sunshine. Because they've definitely got some scrap in them. Oh, big common. Thank you very much. Right, there we have the carp, eh? Perfect size fish. So let's get this one back. Right, so while we're at, let's talk about rigs and setups. Dead easy. As I've said before, you know, the power kits for this pole, they have their own power kits, or if you've got any signature definition Oculus models, they'll go straight onto it, so that makes it even better. But let's talk about tackle. Right, I'm after a strong, sturdy elastic, what's not going to let me down. And we've got the dual core 1417. Now, I know you might think it's really powerful, but it is quite soft. It'll let them fish power away, but it keeps you in control. So the 1417 is my ideal elastic when I'm potentially going to catch fish anything from 3 to double figures. So, you know, it will easily land them fish. So the 1417 dual core elastic. Line wise, main line, again, dead strong, dead sturdy. 020 MVR rig mono, perfect for this style of fishing, perfect for any commercial. 020, I want a strong main line, not going to let me down. I don't want to be having a main line breakage halfway through the match. Float wise, it's my favourite. I absolutely love these floats for hard pellet fishing. They are the MVR Series 3 diamond shaped body, and you can see they've got quite a sturdy tip. One what I can see, I can read my bites on. Really good. You can see I've got a couple of back shots above it. Tricky wind today. What's going up? So then back shots just help me hold that float bang straight. You'll see I've got a couple of little trimming shot underneath the float, a couple of 10 trimmers just to dot it down. And this is straightforward. This is the easiest rig you'll ever use. As you can see, I've got a bulk shot. I have a bulk of number 9s, 5 number 9s there. It's a 0.5 float. I've got 5 number 9s, literally 12 inches from my hook. Right. 6 inches below that, I've got a number 10. And then I've got a 6-inch hook length on of 016 MVR rig mono. A power carp, 16s, eyed hook, and a band. And it's as easy as that. It is as easy as that. And the shotting pattern is simple, it's straightforward, It gets you down to where the fish want to be. When you're feeding them pellets, it all happens in the last foot of the water. So there's no point messing about with it all through here. Straight down to the bottom, and everything happens in that last bit when your float sits right and it goes stunk. And as soon as it goes like that, oh, you're straight on top of it, you're on it. So there's my rigs, dead simple. I think we need to catch some more fish now, don't we? So let's get back out there. Well, let's get back out there. Top 2 and 2 fishing. It's all about eat, sleep, repeat, and it's all about the feeding. The feeding is the key to it. The noise of them pellets, plop, 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 plop. It attracts fish into your area. Get fish in your area, get them used to them pellets coming in, then it's a case of just picking them off one by one. And that's how you will catch massive weights on this top 2 and 2 line. So let me show you, let me talk you through the process, because basically I'm picking a marker somewhere across where I know I'm going to be able to put my rig in. My feed's going to be somewhere around it. Wind's tricky, obviously, so I'm casting that, I'm putting that bulk shot out, and then I'm literally holding the float until my bulk shot has settled straight, and then I'm lowering the rig in. Now you can see it's literally lowered in straight away, but this is the key to it now. The key to it is the feeding. I've picked my marker, I've got it lined up straight across on that far bank, and now it's about feeding. Yes, if you want to, you can use a little cup, you can use a little kinder pot on the end of the pole if you're not overconfident in throwing them, but I just think it's that noise that attracts these fish, and it's all about, yeah, getting them competing, the pellets falling through the water, your pellets in among them, and game over. So let's feed a few pellets here. A few pellets gone around my float, we had a bite then. Now them pellets have gone in the water, I can position this rig properly. So it's down to in a foot off the bottom, everything's straight, and then I'm lowering my rigging. I'm lowering my rigging because pellets fall straight through the water. They fall like that. You know, you don't want your pellet coming in at an angle like that because it is so unnatural to the fish. Pellets fall in a straight line, and that's what we're trying to do on this line. We're just trying to get your pellet falling in among the others which are falling straight, and we're basically tricking these fish. We're tricking these fish into thinking the pellet on the hook is exactly the same as the pellets what's actually being thrown in and dropping through the water. Because I'm telling you now, you know, these fish, they're cute, they're shy, they get caught numerous times, and we have to virtually trick one into every bite. We're virtually tricking one into it. So feeding is key. Little and often, 5 and 6 pellets dropping through your peg. I'm not going to say all the time, because suddenly you'd have a pile of pellets on the bottom, which is far, far too many. But realistically, if you've not had a bite within a minute or a couple of minutes, again, it's time to feed. So we'll repeat the process. A few more pellets going in. If you want to reposition your rig, by all means do so. And I'm just holding that bait there till them pellets are falling, lowering it in, trap set, oh, and a bite. See? So it just shows we've fed them pellets, they're falling through the water, and we had an indication straight away. Hopefully there is still one there that's not at the loose offerings what we've put in, and we can hopefully nail him this time. Again, if you hadn't had a bite in a short while, you know, lifting and dropping, just like literally lift your float, literally just out of the water, a nice like 6-inch or a foot lift, and then lower it straight back down. Again, it's mimicking that fall of the pellets going through. Another indication. I'm just trying to, see, I've lined it up with my marker. My back shots are doing the job. They're holding that rig nice and steady in this wind, because I'm looking at holding it in an area where them pellets have gone in. The slight indication then, there's a few fish in the peg. But yeah, we've obviously caught a few fish already, so you know, as soon as we start to catch a few, they get a little bit wary, a little bit wise. It's just about tricking another one into it. But I see so many people on this line, they feed handfuls upon handfuls upon handfuls of bait, and you know, it is not the right thing to do. You know, you can easily catch £100 of fish on this line with half a pint of pellets. It's not all about big volumes of bait. It's just about tricking them into having a go. Wind's really difficult. Wind's really difficult today, but it's one of them winds that's like you want on the lake, but it's just making A, presentation a little bit tricky, and B, feeding. You can see that float, half a gram, it's riding through. It's not helplessly deep here, but it's holding up in this little bit of a skitty wind what we've got. There we go. There we go. Just what we were saying. All about feeding. 4 and 5 pellets. Keep ringing that dinner bell. Oh, look at that! If you're going to catch one, just catch a big one. Oh, there we go. And these are the fish what you catch on that 5 metre line. You know, sometimes some of the biggest fish, they can be every bit as big as your margin fish you catch. There we have it, a nice £8 fish on that line. So get him back, catch a few more. Well, here's another. Feed a few pellets just as we hook that one. Like that elastic don't work, it's keeping it under control. Not literally want to pull its head off. Keep gathering a bit of that elastic. You're definitely scrapping today. I think it's a big wallower. A big wallower. Trying to pull me in. There we go. Another lovely fish, which that 5 metre line can produce. Let me unhook him, because he's took it well down. There we go. Yeah, what a fantastic fish to get on that 5 metre line. And I think there's no better time now than to probably come into his margins. These bigger fish are feeding, so no further ado, I think we'll do a bit of margin fishing. But that 5 metre line, guys, you know, what a fantastic way of catching fish. It's a nice, simple, straightforward method. Keep that bait going in. It's all about the feeding. 5 and 6 pellets, 5 and 6 pellets all the time. Keep ringing that dinner bell for them. Keep lifting and dropping that 6mm pellet in among them. Nice positive rig, and you will be rewarded with a mega bag of fish. You certainly will be. So, right, no further ado. Let's get down these margins. Let's do a bit of curb crawling and see if we can catch a few more big uns. Right then, let's talk about margins. Do like a bit of margin fishing, I must say. And right, what I've actually done, I've actually primed that line up. I've plumbed up down my edge. I've actually found a nice little bit of a flat spot down my edge. Not really tight to the bank, but slightly off the bank, about a foot off the bank. Getting too close to the bank, it's not really nice. It's not straight, it's a bit rocky. So I've come away from the bank a little bit, but then fish will be more than happy to feed on that flat bit. Already primed it half an hour ago. I gave them 5 full pots of literally ground bait and dead maggots. Not loads of maggots. I don't want to give them too many maggots. The ground bait's the attractant, the maggots are what they want to feed on. The ground bait attracts them into the cloud, what it puts in the water. The maggots is what they want to eat. So, you know, I've probably put, yeah, I'm not going to say a quarter of a pint. I've put a nice handful into my initial bait up. And what I've also done now is I've put some maggots into a mix of ground bait. So every time I go down that inside now, I'm going to be feeding a little bit of ground bait. Yes, I could kinder pot it, but it's quite difficult in these conditions because it keeps trying to push the line away from my pole and round my pot, and it just won't be right. So what I am going to be doing, I'm going to be feeding it with a big pot and then following it straight in. And you'll see, got a nice little mix there. Look, there's ground bait and maggots in that. I'm not going to say a tight bowl, but a bowl, so I know for a fact it's gonna literally drop down, possibly a foot, and then break up on the way down to the bottom. Where's my rig? Rig wise, we'll get fishing first and then I'll talk to you all about rigs. But basically, I've got five dead maggots on, and what we want to do, we want to quickly get down there, right over that bit of bait what I've put in, and I'm wanting that bait to physically get to the bottom as quick as I possibly can. Where that ground bait's gone down the edge, it's feeding, hopefully it's attracting them in. There you go. Well, I can honestly say it's not what I expected, but it'll be a surprise when it comes in. It's a decent fish. think we all know what it is, don't we? Proper bream. And that's the other good thing about down these margins. It's every bit of £3. We'll get that back in. Some more maggots on. Yeah, what we're saying, you know, the good thing about feeding this ground bait and maggots like this is it will attract other species, you know, then proper bream. So we've caught that one fish. So what do? We need to repeat the process. Get the fish used to bait falling through the water. And all we want to do now is get that rig back in amongst that bait, that ground bait what I've put in. There we go. You can see I'm just off the bank a little bit where it is dead flat. Well, when I said dead flat, it's a flat enough area to catch fish on. Ideally, I don't want to be lifting and dropping my rig if possible, because that's when we've got a chance of getting foul hookers, which is a bit of a no-no when you're fishing down these edges. Look for any telltale signs that there's fish moving in your peg. Sometimes you see them swirling and shallow, but quite deep edges here at Glebe, so I'm never afraid to put ground bait in. Ground bait, I think, does attract lots and lots of fish into your peg. You've then just got to work out how to catch them. There we go. Nice positive bite. I don't know if it's a carp. I think it will. Oh, well, we're never going to know. We're never going to know. But just shows you these fish there. Got a funny feeling that might have been a big bream. But listen, I'm not going to feed it this time. I'm just going to drop in just to see if we can nail one on probably the cloud what that fish has kicked up. Sometimes you'll get a daft one come in and kick it, but if not, you're going to have to restart your peg again. Another ball of bait, follow it in. It's all about falling bait. It's all about getting the fish used to bait coming in and around them. Get him used to bait falling in and around them, mate. You're on to an absolute winner when it comes to any type of fishing, really, but certainly margin fishing. You've just got to be so careful that you don't overfeed them and put too much in. Brings too many fish into your peg, foul hookers. Yeah, we're going to have a problem then. So just try and work it out. I'm not going to get it long. I'm just going to see if we could potentially nick another one before we had to feed it. But it's probably, as I thought, it's not going to happen. You watch, it'll call me a liar now. It's definitely a fishing peg, because we've had a little indication there. There we go. It's not a carp, but another one of these big Glebe bream. There we are, look, only £2 fish. Beautiful. Never concerns me really what we're catching. If we're catching them proper bream like that, it's never a problem. Because A, they're weight builders, and B, feeding fish attract other feeding fish. So although we are catching, yeah, proper bream. 2 of them equates to 1 carp by catching them bream. It's only a matter of time before a carp potentially sticks its nose in. They're too inquisitive not to. It's just the way they are. Just wait for that proper indication. It'll be a lot of people ask me about bites and like what a proper, you know, you can actually tell that proper bite. It's a distinctive, you know, flies under. Proper, like a proper clunk. You know, don't be striking at little daft indications like that were. Little daft indication, but it followed round with a proper thump under. That rigging. Wind's been really tricky today. It's just making it a little bit awkward. It's trying to blow that float away from where I want to position it properly on that flat area. Hopefully, again, also by feeding the bait like we are feeding it, sometimes them fish will rush straight in through that cloud and you'll catch these fish on the drop, which when that happens, big weights are on the cards. But there's a few fish showing interest, so it's just a case of persevering at the minute. Just trying to make things happen. There we go. Proper bite. Can't say I've ever been pestered by £2 bream before, but we'll take them. We'll take them. Yeah, look. Lovely. It just goes to show, you know, you get your presentation right, you get your feeding right, and you can catch all these fish, bream, carp. You know, I think people think sometimes it's all about catching carp down the edges. So we've caught them 2 fish. Feed again. Like I said, don't be shy, because we're wanting to get these fish used to bait falling in. As soon as I've got that bait in, I'm wanting to follow it in straight away. Literally, it needs to be straight in, straight over the top of that bait. That's potentially when a fish is going to come screaming into them edges, looking for that bait. Indication straight away. Picking out them few maggots. Like I said, there's not lots of maggots in that ground bait. There's just a few, which is going to give them a little bit of a taster for what they want. That might be a carp. Right, here we go. Knew it won't be long. Just like I was saying, like, feeding fish attract other feeding fish, and inevitably there's going to be some carp coming to your peg. And there we have it. We've had them bream, and wind's terrible today, guys. It really is. We'll nail him, I think, just while we can. This is what they call a proper margin brute. He's a good one. It's almost giving me an hernia lifting him out. Proper double figure fish, proper margin fish. Ooh. Beating me up in the process. Just hooked. Let me try and show you. He's a big one. He's bigger than me. That doesn't take a lot though, really, does it? Let's try and hold him up for you. He is a big one. Right, here we go. Proper margin brute. I want to get him back because he's proper lively. He's trying to beat me up. So let's get him back. £10 everybody's money, that. What a way to start off. Down the edge, caught them bream, caught that carp. So I think we need to do now is talk you through the rigs, talk how I've got set up, and see if we can catch some more. Right, let's talk about rigs. Rigs, all important thing, and feeding. Right, margin fishing. Basically, I take absolutely zero prisoners when it comes to fishing down my margins. And elastic wise, it's going to sound quite brutal this, but that is the 1820 Trico. And, you know, it's a thick elastic, but it's a powerful elastic. It powers up quite quickly. But it is stretchy. It's really soft, it's really stretchy. Once you've used it a couple of times, set quite soft in the pole, it's absolutely awesome for catching weights of carp, especially when you're fishing down your margins. So the 1820 Tricore or the 1820 dual cord if you want that little bit more softness, but this one for here, the fish are quite strong, they're quite powerful pullers, and that absolutely tames them to a T. Line wise, again, no prisoners, MVR rig mono 022. Straight through, I have no length on these rigs. I'd sooner be fishing ultra positive and proper strong down the edge if I'm looking for a weight of fish potentially in the last hour of the match. Float wise, it's the Reality Series 2 float, nice big thick bristle as you can see. I don't want to be striking at liners and daft things like that. It's my favourite float for this type of fishing. I've said 022 straight through. We have a size 12 power carp hook on, and the shotting pattern is literally 5 number 9s. You can see I've roughly got them spread out. That one slipped a little bit. I've roughly got them spaced out, literally an inch apart, 6 inches from my hook, so I've got that little bit of fall at the bottom, but I've got that little bit of natural fall, so just to let them maggots drift in among that ground bait. And that is my rig, guys. It's ultra strong, it's ultra reliable, it's not going to let me down, and if I need to catch a weight of fish quickly down them margins, it's going to do the job for me. So we'll get back out there and catch a few more. Right, let's talk about bait. Bit of bait going in there. Got to go in on a regular basis. That is the key to catching down these margins. So let me show you my mix I've got. Here it is. It's straightforward. It is ground bait and maggots. Swim stim margin mix, marine halibut mixed 50-50, and you can see there's quite a few maggots in that, but not a massive amount. I'm not looking at putting mountains of maggots in. It's the maggots I want them to eat, the ground bait what's there to attract them, and I want them to pick out and focus on my hook bait when I go in with them 5 maggots on the hook. So there's my mix. We fed it quite aggressively at the start to put a bit there, and then it's a case of feeding on a regular basis. It's trying to get one bite at a time. If I get that bite and I miss it, I feed it again. One bite, one little blob of stuff, and it's as easy as that. And get them fish used to bait falling in and around them. So what I'm going to do now, I know I've just put one in, but I'm going to put another ball in. Just a nice little half clench ball, so it's going to drop potentially halfway before breaking up and then releasing all them maggots. I've got my rig here, which I want to get over the top of that ground bait really as quick as I can, because any fish that's initially come into that mix, we're going to catch him. So there we go, straight over the top of that ball. That is so important, guys. It's so important that, you know, I see so many people literally feed down the margins and then 10 minutes later go in and try and catch a fish. Well, it's too late, it's gone. Your bait's gone. One's been in, snaffled it all, gone. So, you know, you're actually sat there with, there we go. You're actually sat there with literally no bait anywhere near where you're fishing. I think this is another one of them, we'll call them pesky bream, shall we? One of them pesky £2 bream. But it's like we're saying, fish attract others. Feeding is the key. So, like I was saying, I've got my rig ready. I get my big pot, a little bit of bait, pick my spot, in, drop my pot, literally get back out there over that bait as quick as possible. And all being well, in the grand scheme of things, it should go straight under. But you have to get them confident. You have to get these fish confidently feeding and used to bait falling in and around them. That's the key to it. Right. Well, as you can see, they are absolutely lined up. And I can't mean lined up one a chuck now. A combination of proper feeding, right time of day, getting them used to that bait falling in and around them, and they suddenly wanting to play properly. We're not waiting for bites. The bites are pretty much instant now. Soon as that rig's on the bottom, they are on it. So these are the things you hope for in matches, or even, you know, even pleasure fishing. You know, you can have a great day if you do it right. This one is an absolute beast, which I think hopefully if we get it in, we're gonna end our day on that. But yeah, get things right. You don't need mountains of bait. you know, but just especially down that edges, get them used to that bait going in. That's the main thing. But, you know, maggots, these, you know, all carp, they're into carp in any venue around this country what won't eat maggots. And you don't need loads, you know. You really don't need loads, just get them proper confident in feeding. Right gear on, right feeding, and you're going to have a brilliant, brilliant day. This one's trying to pull me in, I think. I think it's one of them big ghosties. You know, even with this real, you know, this strong elastic what we've got, you can see it's really quite soft. They definitely do want to pull you in. We're not even in heights of summer yet. There he is. Come on, my beauty. No point rushing him. You've done the hardest thing. Get him bite. There he is. There he is, look. Not quite ready. There's me telling you guys not to rush it, and there's me trying to rush it. Here he is. Proper margin fish to end our session, I think. Oh, here we go. It's no good for my back, this, I'll tell you. I'm only little. I'm going to try and hold him up for you. I hope he's going to behave. There, oh, nearly. There you have it, guys. A proper double figure margin carp to end today's film on. Absolute beaut. Let me put him back. Well, there we have it. It's as easy. I'm going to say it's as easy as that, but you know, get things right. Get your gear right. Get your baiting right. Feed it at the right times. Get them confident feeding down them edges, and yeah, towards the end of the day, you know, you can really go to town and get a massive weight of fish. You know, and even if you guys out there are pleasure fishing, and you know, it's as easy as that. Little bit of bait, get them used to that bait, falling in, falling round them, and you'll catch fish for fun. As we did earlier when we were fishing at 5 meters, we were feeding them pellets, getting them used to dropping through the water and catching them. So, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learnt a few things on catching some carp in this beautiful spring sunshine. But anything what you've learnt from today, you can take forward right through summer, because these carp and bream and everything, they're now getting onto feeding and feeding properly, and hopefully we're going to have a fantastic summer with fantastic weather and some brilliant fish catches. So until next time, when you catch me on the bank, tight lines, and we'll see you all very soon.